The Compliance Perspectives podcast is sponsored by Case IQ, a global provider of whistleblowing case management and compliance solutions. Learn more at caseiq.com. Welcome to the Compliance Perspectives podcast. I'm Adam Turteltaub from the Society of Corporate Compliance and Ethics and Healthcare Compliance Association. Joining us today from Houston is Zahra Timsah. Zahra is co-founder and CEO of Agentic AI. And today we're going to be talking about something which I have to admit I'm not as familiar with, which is Agentic AI. Zahra, first, we hear a lot about generative AI, but not as much about Agentic AI. What is it?
That's actually a very good question. So generative AI has dominated headlines, right? Because it creates. So there is content creation. It writes, it paints, it codes, but the dirty secret is in compliance. Creation isn't the problem, and this is what I focus on, compliance. The real issue is enforcement. That's where agentic AI steps in. So think of an agent. It's not just a system that creates content in general. It talks. It's a system that acts. So if it sees a violation, for example, that's about to happen, it can prevent it in real time because of that action. So an example is, let's say there is sensitive patient data and it's about to leave a healthcare system through an API call. You know, Gen AI will flag that. It will provide you with a report, but after the fact, Adam. But an agent will step in, it can redact the data before it ever leaves, like the system, the client system, let's say. And that reality is a leap from being just a mere like spectator watching and alerting to being an enforcer, taking action that is aligned with policies, external regulations, internal policies, you name it. Agentic AI in reality is amazing. It's changing the narrative from, hey, tell me what went wrong to make sure nothing goes wrong in the first place.
Well, that is quite the change. So then, how does agentic AI change the role of humans in compliance? Does it replace tasks that people were doing, expand their capacity? Where does it fit exactly?
Yeah, it's a very good question. The fear around AI is always replacement. Employees will freak out and say, hey, will it take my job? But agentic AI is about rebalancing. So today, compliance teams are stuck in what they call alert fatigue. They spend endless hours reviewing dashboards, chasing down flags, and also filling out audit paperwork. I used to do that. But that's not strategy. That's kind of admin survival, paperwork. Agents are helping us shift that burden. So they're taking on the repetitive enforcement, those mundane tasks, the checks, the redactions, the access controls, and they're doing it consistently and continuously. So what that is doing, it is really freeing humans to focus on the gray areas, like interpreting new regulations, designing policies, managing exceptions, and advising executives, fit for purpose. So instead of drowning in noise, they get elevated into roles that actually use their expertise. So no, I don't think it replaces, it really amplifies. So it's turning compliance officers into strategists, not like spreadsheet operators.
One of the challenges compliance people face is that regulations are moving and changing quickly, both domestically, globally. Um, does agentic AI have the capability to help that by staying aligned with shifting laws and standards?
Yeah, so agentic AI is approaching this in a whole different way. At the heart of agentic AI is really a policy engine. So you're ingesting regulatory updates, you're mapping them against controls, standards, and policies. So if you have a law or a regulation that changes, this agent, the rule set, the logic, the whole technical know-how behind it changes. So you're not waiting 5 months, 6 months, a year for the consultants that you hire to kind of review, rewrite policies, or your internal IT department to rebuild workflows. So a new rule in the EU AI Act, let's say, requires anonymization, redaction in a certain way. The agent itself, the compliance agent, will update the behavior instantly. So you have an agentic AI that is turning compliance from kind of a reactive approach to an adaptive approach. So you have it always in motion, always creating results that are consistent, in sync, and most importantly, keeping up with the latest standards autonomously.
That's fascinating. So, what metrics should organizations track to measure the impact and value of agentic AI in compliance? There's so much pressure these days on making sure we have those kinds of metrics.
Compliance is struggling with measurement. You know, success often looks like, hey, nothing bad happened. This is what they see success. But with agentic AI, we can actually quantify value. That's amazing. And when you want to quantify value with agentic AI, you need to think about three things: risk, efficiency, and trust. For risk, you have to think, hey, how many violations were prevented? How many fines were avoided? How many incidents were stopped before they became a crisis? For efficiency, it's like how much time is saved preparing, let's say, an audit, right? How much manual review was eliminated? What about the cost of compliance per, let's say, dollar of revenue drops? And when it comes to trust, is think of it as like how quickly regulators, boards, and even clients give a sign off because they can see transparent, real-time evidence of enforcement. So companies that track across these three dimensions don't just see compliance as cost savings; they see it as reputational capital. They can go to market faster, they can win contracts faster, they can prove reliability faster than competitors. And to me, that's a measurable advantage. I'm all about having quantitative KPIs.
So, looking ahead, what do you see as the biggest opportunity for compliance teams that adopt agentic AI?
So really, I mean, the biggest opportunity is turning compliance into a competitive advantage rather than just a drag, right? Like organizations nowadays are seeing compliance as friction. What does that mean? Friction means something you do because you have to. But early adopters of agentic AI would really flip that equation. So imagine walking into, let's say, a regulator's office or an investor meeting and saying, here are, in your hand, you have them, here are live logs of our compliance being enforced in real time. Every data transfer, every model output, every exception is tracked and explained. That level of transparency will build trust instantly. And Adam, early adopters won't just avoid fines, they'll win business. So in healthcare, you have faster approval cycles with the FDA, for example. In finance, it's like a smoother cross-border operation if, let's say, you are in fintech. In tech in general, it's like earning user trust where others can't. So I see compliance being not just defense, but actually an offense, like strategy.
It's a huge, huge change in thinking. Finally, let me ask one last question. For organizations looking to deploy agentic AI, what are the realistic expectations for a first round effort?
Start with one use case, something high impact but contained. Like patient data, start with anonymization. Finance, start with enforcing access control. Like deploy one agent, prove it works, and expand. The mistake is like thinking you need a fleet of agents on day one. That's not real. Like any transformation, success will build in increments.
Well, Zara, thank you so much for sharing these insights with us into this new other corner of AI that we're all less familiar with. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to listen. I'm Adam Turteltaub from SCCE and HCCA. I hope we're able to expand your compliance perspective.